Grandpa, who seems amiable on the surface, is actually the #1 swordsman in the mainland. He has a magical skill, which is to see how many people you've killed.
You have killed over 4,000 people. I am the Sword Saint, and I have also stained my hands with blood. But I've never met someone like you who kills innocents. Pervert. I will represent the moon to destroy you.
The old man said nothing, drew his sword and slashed at me without hesitation. But at this moment, I was calm, because the number on my chest is not the number of kills, but the number of my suicides. Because I have a special skill that I can go back to 24 hours ago. Special skill. The reason why I committed suicide more thans was actually to go back 11 years ago. Because the now respected Hunter Yandi, though he appears kind and loving, is actually a super devil who kills countless people. To stop him, I used suicide to go back 11 years ago. It was the day before the awakening of Yandi. I'm going to the trial tower to stab the sleeping Yandi to death. At this moment, I felt the pressure emanating from the old man. I knew the old man had already developed a killing intent. A wise man does not fight. I turned and ran, but the old man, the world's #1 swordsman, instantly appeared behind me and slashed towards my neck. Fortunately, at the critical, a stone tripped me and I fell to the ground. I dodged the old man's sword.
Oh my God! I didn't expect you, kid.
Dead!
You're quite agile. But in front of me, you're still dead. I was so bitter in my heart.
Can't you tell that I just fell down and got hurt?
At this time, the old man sword saint was more sure. I am a murderer. However, just as he was about to give me the final blow, he suddenly stopped and suddenly started talking to himself.
Don't kill this kid yet. Keep him for good, you.
I really heard a voice coming from the void, but there was no one around the old man. Could this be the old man's telepathic skill? If he now tells others that I am a murderer who has killed over 4,000 people, then I would be the wanted criminal of the Hunter Bureau and be hunted by all hunters for a lifetime. It's better to be killed by the old man now. Go back to 24 hours ago. At this moment, I suddenly thought, this old man seems to hate people greeting his descendants. So I immediately said,
Old man, how is your granddaughter? Since she is the descendant of the swordsman, she must be very beautiful.
Before I could finish speaking, I felt my head and body were separated. Oh my God, this swordsman is indeed well-deserved. I couldn't even see when he made the move, and with my death, my body also came to the resurrection space. The system prompts that the skill card has been generated. I excitedly looked at the system prompt. Actually, I have another skill. That is, if I was killed by someone, I can obtain all the skills that the other person has and generate skill cards in the resurrection space. I was extremely excited. After all, he was the swordsman. This time I must get the golden skill card. However, to my disappointment, as a sword saint, he doesn't have an S-level skill. He actually relied on a bunch of junk skills to become the world's #1. How is that possible? Among these skill cards, there must be some top passive skills. So I aimed for silver skill cards and grabbed them.
Come on, I'm the lucky one. Let me draw the Slayer's ultimate move. As the system prompts to copy skills, I returned to 24 hours ago.
I woke up suddenly. The first thing I did, I opened the system to check the skill card. Sword Saint Throne A+ level. It's a passive skill, although I don't know what it's for, but it's at least in a level skill. It shouldn't be too bad anyway. But at this moment, a voice suddenly appeared beside me. Can you keep your voice down? Can you keep your voice down? I have to go to work tomorrow.
I'm sorry about that.
Hey, why are you sleeping next to me?
I just said sorry, and then I found a red-haired uncle sleeping next to me. At this time, the uncle also turned his head and looked at me. The uncle was curious why I could see him and was looking for the old swordsman. I checked the system skill panel. It turned out that he came from another world. After failing to challenge the 100th floor of the tower, he turned into a ghost. Yandi only broke through the 40th floor, while he broke through 99 floors. I guess the old man also got his guidance to become the world's #1. I nervously said to the uncle,
I'm afraid you can't go back to your original place because I brought you here from there. Now we are in the same boat.
What? I want a refund. Now online shopping has 7-day no reason. Why can't I leave now?
I'm sorry. I really can't. Because I don't even know how to send you back.
Hearing this, the uncle actually cried. But now I finally understand. Why does the old swordsman always curses to himself every moment? There is such a crying uncle by his side. No wonder he curses. Then I complained to the uncle helplessly.
I planned to avoid that eccentric old man for life. I ended up getting such a mortal skill from him.
Why should I avoid him? Although the old man always curses, he is actually very kind.
The old man has an ability.
How much suffering others have experienced.
He saw the mark on my chest is 4,091. The uncle, like the swordsman, he showed a disgusted expression. Seeing that the uncle also misunderstood, I had to tell him about my ability to revive, the cause and effect of resurrecting and killing the Flame Emperor, and the whole story to him. After hearing that, he couldn't help but have a little admiration for me. He killed himself over 4,000 times for revenge. Anyone would think I'm a man. He began to look at me constantly. He thought that someone like me who was so cruel to myself, might be a good candidate to become a senior hunter. So he asked me to hunt monsters, to show my abilities. In a blink, arrived at the hunting ground. After a fierce fight, I finally killed a few slimes. I said embarrassingly, in terms of actual combat. No useful talents in actual combat. But the uncle had a different idea from me. Actually, you have a remarkable talent. Maybe you don't even know it yourself. How is that? I know my own abilities. How could I not know? Although you really don't have any combat talent. Your movements and ordinary physique, but you have a talent that only you have. That is, you are not afraid of death. I felt a little embarrassed. Maybe it's because I have died more than 4,000 times. Then the uncle told me again, everyone may have different talents. To acquire different talents, and the most valuable thing is being able to overcome the fear of death. Maybe you don't even know it yourself. You are very good. Then he confirmed with me again whether my skill is replication or plundering. I told him it was copying. After hearing that, he suddenly burst into laughter. Because if it was a copy, it means there is another self on the old man's side. He was curious.
Who between me and the swordsman would be a better hunter?
Let me help you.
I will help you become a better hunter than the old man.
And then break through the 100-story tower. Hearing this, I was excited like I was once, but the next day I regretted it, because the old man woke me up early in the morning to get up and train. It's so fucking torturous. It's only 4 o'clock now, but in order to become, I had to get up and follow the uncle for training. Seeing my weak physical fitness, he said if I want to speed up my cultivation, I need to receive special additional training, but it requires a lot of money. Suddenly, he thought of a project that was cool. Project, which is to buy lottery tickets. As someone who has died more than 4,000 times, I do know the winning numbers of the lottery.
So when I went to claim the prize with the ticket,
the clerk couldn't believe his own eyes. This is the highest amount of prize money ever. A full 53,000 gold coins. He said that he needed the store manager to handle it. The store manager said after learning, a VIP like me should be received in the VIP room. When I opened the door, what came into view was a golden 53,000 gold coins, which almost blinded my titanium alloy eyes. You know that, which is 53 billion in cash. I don't have to worry about anything. But since I have promised the uncle to conquer the tower, I must keep my promise. Then I told the store manager, I want to buy the honorary member of the guild with 10 gold coins, and paid in full at once. Because, so that I can get the protection of the guild.
I also emphasized to the store manager that
if someone asks who won the jackpot, you should say he is the honorary member. In this, no one will be stupid enough to go against the guild. The uncle patted me on the shoulder and said, well done. It seems that I don't need to worry about you. Then we walked out of the guild. The uncle suggested I buy some elixir to improve,
and I should buy the best and most expensive ones.
Then he winked at me and said, I'll tell you how expensive. What a jackpot. The rest is only enough for 4 bottles. I turned around and took out my phone. I searched for the current hunter ranking list. Sure enough, there was no one in the top 300. Then I turned to the uncle and said, I want to take him somewhere. Let you see what it means to spend the least money and buy the best things. Soon I took the uncle to the slum area. The uncle wondered if there would be a pharmacist here. While I proudly said that, the masters are hidden in the folk. This is not an ordinary pharmacist. I am a genius pharmacist. Not long after, I found a young girl was arguing with an old man. It seemed that the girl couldn't pay the rent, and the man took some of her belongings. Finally, the girl knelt on the ground sadly. I walked over. Madam, are you still? Are you open? I want to order some precious materials from you.
Expensive ones? What do you want to buy? How much can you pay?
20,000 gold.
How about this order? Can you accept it?
Although it seems like I'm giving her money now.
But in fact, this girl in front of me will be the 5th on the ranking list in 10 years. A pharmacist of the Alchemy Guild. Ordinary people want to buy her medicine, at least a year or 2. So now I need to build a good relationship with her. Then he took me into the store. My uncle and I were incredulous. Could it be that geniuses are so informal? Then he asked me what kind of medicine I needed, and I followed the formula provided by the uncle. To the boss. Unexpectedly just glanced at the recipe, but also knew how to make it. But also the logic behind the formula. To know this formula,
it was developed by the uncle after trying tens of thousands.
To finally figure it out,
I asked him how many days it would take to make these pills.
4 days. If the equipment wasn't taken away, 3 days would do.
Of course. I could wait for this time, so I happily nodded and agreed. If it were before, I had to wait 2.5 years to get the medicine. Soon the time came. On the 4th day, the girl brought 3 boxes and delivered them to my place. While I was secretly happy, the efficiency is much better than the store. Much better than, but when the delivery was done, the girl still curiously asked,
why did you entrust me to make such an expensive elixir?
And this question caught me off guard a little. I couldn't tell her that, because I knew you would be an alchemist in the future. You look very kind. I think the world needs more.
Needs more kind people like us in this world.
The next day,
the uncle and I came to the 3rd floor of the tower.
To test the effect of the elixir, I immediately drank a bottle of elixir. When I was still savoring the elixir, the faint honey flavor, a sudden force emerged from my body. My body's senses became sensitive. I could even see how many nose hairs the uncle had. Seeing this, the uncle also told me, this is the flow of spiritual energy in my body. As my heart beat faster and faster, I felt like my head was about to explode. Everything around me and my eyes were like slow motion shots. Suddenly, a goblin behind me wanted to attack me, although I could see every movement of it clearly. But I don't know why. My body couldn't keep up with my reaction. I could only rely on my mind to make my body move. Suddenly, a stream of spiritual energy flowed.
I suddenly accelerated to dodge the goblin's attack.
Then I focused my spiritual energy on my feet. I pulled out my dagger and jumped towards the goblin. I stabbed the dagger into the goblin's chest and gathered my spiritual energy. I finally killed the goblin, but my body now feels like it's been drained of energy. I couldn't move.
The uncle was actually saying sarcastic words beside me.
It's so hard, right? Why don't you just die? Anyway, you can be resurrected. It's a good deal because you can resurrect. That I helped you make this training plan. Hearing the uncle's words, I still couldn't move.
I felt a figure appear from behind at this time.
But my body couldn't move at all. I was just knocked out by the goblin after being...
The uncle was very curious because it was his first time.
But I was not surprised, because I have been here more than 4,000 times, and I am right here. To copy the skills of the Flame Emperor and the old man, I pointed behind me. When we turned around to look, we were both completely stunned. The system prompted, randomly copy the skills of monsters and orcs. I thought this copying skill only worked on humans, but I didn't expect it could copy monsters. The uncle next to me shouted it's unfair. Why didn't he get such a cool skill instead of me? But to me, a useless person. I ignored him. I was about to reach out and take a random card. At this time, the uncle wondered why I chose this card. Why not choose a useful one? I said it doesn't matter. Anyway, the cards are flying behind me. I can't see the front of the card. I could only choose randomly, but the uncle said he could see it. Only then did I realize that, damn it, the uncle has been floating around everywhere, and he can float to the front of the card and see the detailed description. With this tool, I can. It won't be a blind draw in the future. I asked the uncle to quickly describe the skill card. The first one is reproductive. You are in heat all year round. You can attract the opposite sex effortlessly. The second one is G-time.
With this skill, you can easily learn rap.
And you can have a goblin-like good voice. I was completely confused after hearing it. How could there be such a bizarre skill? The uncle seriously suggested me, as a real man.
Of course, I should choose the first one to show my charm.
I ignored him. I jumped up and grabbed the second G-time A skill card. I was back in the past one day. I found that choosing this skill did not result in any punishment. The uncle's conspiracy didn't succeed, and stomped his feet. I told him not to be angry.
Let's go to the third floor hunting area for more training.
When I arrived I drank another bottle of elixir. I instantly felt my waist wasn't sore, and legs are not weak. I can run up 5 floors in one. I concentrated my spiritual energy and ran towards the goblin. At the moment when he was about to attack me,
I concentrated my spiritual energy and ran towards the goblin. At the moment when he was about to attack me, I used my Jai skill. I said G.
At this moment, the goblin suddenly felt a sense of...
He didn't expect to meet Kun Kun's fans here. Just as he was stunned, I used a 2.5 meter dagger and slashed his throat with it. At the moment he fell down.
He kept repeating G in his mouth. Uncle G was so angry that he gritted his teeth.
Accusing me of using despicable means to deceive the kind goblin. Skills are all for use, aren't they? There is no such thing as despicable. I was proud of myself instead. Then we came to the place where the Goblin King was.
And used the same method to knock him down again.
Suddenly, red aura radiated from my body. Then the system prompted me to level up to level 1. The uncle said that, based on the spiritual energy state when I leveled up, this state should be fire or blood attribute, just like the Yen Emperor you killed, just like the Yen D you killed, whose aura is fire. It's just a speculation. He then said that I can try to challenge the 6th floor now.
Well, I want to directly challenge the Demon King on the 10th floor.
But for this decision, he looked unbelieving. Do you know?
How many years did Key Hunter spend to reach the 10th floor?
But I'm confident. How about we make a bet? If I can break through with only 1 death, you will call me Mr. Jin. With the word sir added, the uncle was so angry that if you lost, you will call me master for a lifetime. Anyway, you can be resurrected and won't die. Okay, it's a deal. Whoever defaults is a jerk. In the eyes of others, I was like a fool competing with the air. With the help of the uncle, I decided to directly attack the 10th floor tower. After opening the door, what appeared in front of me were terrifying dolls. They asked in unison if I could play hide and seek with them.
And the whole house was instantly on fire.
The system also issued a prompt. The 10th level is Hellfire Girl. I immediately wrapped my aura around me to make a shield.
At this time, the experienced uncle explained, to pass the level, you have to choose the only one.
Select the only real doll and destroy it to pass the level. But with my current ability,
the shield can only last for 10 minutes at most. How dare you bet that you can pass by dying only once?
Do you think that by drinking elixir, do you think you have a lot of spiritual power? Watching me struggling against the heat wave, the uncle kept laughing at me.
That old man lasted for a full 30 minutes.
He searched all the dolls, and before finding the real doll, so you'd better be ready to admit defeat. The 10th level is Hellfire Girl, the 10th floor of the underground. The uncle looked proud, but he didn't know. I already had an idea in my mind. Seeing that my spirituality was running out,
I found one of the dolls seemed to be different.
So I walked over and grabbed it.
But the doll kept repeating that it wasn't me.
It's not me, and its body started to melt like an ice cream. Suddenly, my spiritual shield reached its limit, and it shattered immediately. My whole body was engulfed by the raging fire. Then I came to the resurrection space. I took a moment to rest, and asked the uncle to help me check the detailed description of the skill card.
The uncle chose the highest level golden skill card.
Hellfire Barrier. You can create a 2-kilometer radius hell rocket without your permission. No one can leave this enchantment without your permission. Seeing this, the uncle asked me to choose this skill, because it was the only golden skill card.
And it can create hellfire, like just now.
Which is so cool, but I ignored him and let him continue to read the remaining skill cards. Doll manipulation, remote manipulation, until the uncle read the last one. He suddenly showed a disgusting expression. I knew there must be such a skill card. The uncle kept urging me to choose that golden skill card, but I ignored him. I just reached out and took the last one. Among tens of thousands of dolls, only the real one has aura, and not afraid of fire. Why aren't the other fake dolls burned either? A level skill. Be careful of fire. While you are immune to fire and ice attribute damage, your damage will increase by 3%. Now it's my turn to mock him. With this skill, passing the 10th floor will be a piece of cake. Just as I was proud that the 10th floor was nothing, suddenly the system prompts.
The revival will suffer the penalty attached to the card. You will experience the psychological trauma of the Hellfire Girl.
Then me and the uncle, we entered a strange memory space. It turned out that this was the girl's memory. The girl was born in a famine era. She could only survive by begging everywhere. Until one day she met a kind uncle, who claimed to be a doctor, who could give her food and adopt her. So the girl followed him to the doctor's luxurious manor. The girl thought she could change her destiny from then on and live a beautiful life. Who would have thought this was the start of a nightmare? The girl locked in prison finally realized the evil of humanity. It turned out that the uncle was a complete pervert. He specifically lured children and locked them in cages and then sold them in an underground auction. But one night, the butler of the manor was portraying he accidentally dropped the candle in his hand. Instantly, the whole manor caught fire. However,
The doctor only cared about letting the servants escape and completely forgot about the children he locked up.
in this way,
The girl and many children were swallowed by the fire.
and lost their lives. With the system prompt that the psychological trauma is over, the uncle and I returned to 24 hours ago.
But our moods couldn't be relieved for a long time.
The uncle said that the girl was now a monster.
And the children had died in the other world for a long time.
It's no use being sad now. The first thing to do now is to find the real doll and destroy it past the 10th floor, but I think we must do something for the girl and the children. So I and the uncle came to the 10th floor again. I asked the man, do you remember the golden skill card in Dead Space?
To create a 2-kilometer radius hellfire barrier.
The point is that without the caster's permission, no one can leave this enchantment. We're not the first ones. People who tried to conquer the 10th floor. Why did those who came before fail in the strategy? And leave safely? It's because the devil deliberately let them escape. I entered the flaming manor again. The doll said the same words. Brother, play with us. Okay. Let's play hide and seek. Strangely, they didn't hide, but sat neatly waiting for me to find them. Waiting for me to find them. Is it you? No, it's not me. And the uncle also found out. What I'm doing now is not just to pass the level, but more like ferrying souls. Yeah, they used to be a group of innocent and carefree children. Only, finally in an iron cage, I found a doll, which was particularly, I gently touched his head and caught you. Now it's your turn to catch me.
But the doll began to slowly melt and
turned back into the smiling one he used to be. Thank you, kind brother. Then the system sent a prompt. Congratulations to Chan Gongzi for passing level 10. The reward will be given in 24 hours. Will be distributed when entering after leaving the 10th.
The uncle praised me very rarely once.
Well done. You did a great job this time. I didn't expect you to pass the level in this way, but I saw through his little trick. Don't think I forgot our bet. I'll pass the 10th level as long as I die once. You will call me Master Jin from now on. The uncle played a rogue. Aren't we good partners? I'm the man who has conquered the 99th floor, and I will be the man who can help you break through level 100. You say what a perfect combination this is. I ignored him. I just replied coldly that when you talk to me later, don't forget to call me Mr. Jin. After breaking through the 10th floor, only 2.5 hours later, the major guilds had already found me. They offered me attractive conditions and invited me to join their guilds.
Someone offered a deposit of 20,000 gold coins. Then other guilds started to increase the price one after another.
Our guild offered 25,000.
Plus a guild honorary position and 500,000 gold.
And the vice president position. My cat in my arms suddenly spoke and saw the cat jump out of my arms, turned into a beautiful woman. She was the president of the Merchant Alliance Guild. I won't, and the other guild masters also arrived at the same time. The 5th ranked Chanwu Guild's leader, Viper. The 4th ranked Pantheon Guild Master Heretic. The vice president of the Self-Defense Force, the Paladin. The Dark Witch of the Black Dragon Guild. I already know your intentions. If I join one of the guilds, it seems to lose the face of other guilds. How about this? Let's play poker. Who wins in the end and gets the first place? I will join his guild. But if I win in the end, you have to agree. I will join all of your guilds at the same time, and I will be treated equally as you. Young people today are really courageous. I'm willing to join the Chamber of Commerce. I'll be the first to agree, but you must agree. No cheating allowed. I agree too, and no using skills. Our guild is very poor anyway. I like this way of playing. I don't mind. Let's start quickly. I have something. I secretly told the uncle that if you tell me what cards they are holding to help me win this game, you don't need to call me Master Jin Gongzi anymore. Really, the uncle couldn't believe I was so generous, and danced with joy. If they dare to cheat, I will definitely expose them. So Jin, this guy has a straight flush. Give up this round. Okay, I fold. I put down my poker cards. This guy is trying to scare people with a pair. I'll follow him right away. This guy wants a straight flush. I look at his whole card. He definitely can't make it. Okay, I'll go all in this round. Soon a bunch of judges, paladins, and 3 guild masters lost everything. Only the Dark Witch was left. The uncle made a gesture. He had a flush of diamonds. I looked at the cards in my hand. Why don't we make it quick? How about a one-shot win?
The Dark Witch also glanced at her cards.
I have something to do. I'm in a hurry. So I bet all my chips. The Dark Witch has flush. Jin Gongzi scored. Jin Gongzi wins. This guy must be cheating. The poison tongue angrily shouted. Do you have proof? Don't frame others casually. Then I stood up and prepared to leave. I believe all the guild leaders will keep their promises, right? Now the uncle doesn't have to call me sir anymore. So he kept calling me a brat, and I turned around to look at them before leaving. Let me tell you a piece of news first. From the 11th floor, and the 20th floor is all about role-playing.
It was the reward prompt for me to break the 10th floor.
After that, while they were surprised, I turned around and left smartly. Soon it was the countdown to the 11th floor opening.
All hunters were cheering and waiting outside the tower.
Suddenly,
an angel similar to an NPC appeared in the air.
That world was struggling under the invasion of the devil. Dear hunters,
if you are willing to take on the mission of a hero,
just say teleport loudly. However, at this moment, a figure flew over from the height. It was the old swordsman, the original owner of Uncle. He was the first to say teleport and entered the 11th. The other guild leaders also started to enter one after another. Suddenly, a group of reporters emerged from nowhere. Jin Gongzi Hunter, excuse me. Did you really break through the 10th floor alone? Are you really just a level 1 hunter? I can even clear the 20th floor alone. Then you will know the truth. I turned around and started teleporting, leaving a group of confused reporters. After being teleported to level 11, the scene in front of him, even the old sword saint was stunned. I saw countless soldiers and countless monsters were fighting. The system also issued a task prompt, supply line defense battle. The Empire of Aijin was attacked by demons. They planned to block the Empire's supply lines. The mission objective is to hold the port.
If the mission fails, you can enter the the 12th floor.
All hunters swarmed up. All spontaneously followed the old man's steps and fought bravely, but I'm not in a hurry and watching all this leisurely because the tower is giving me the clearance reward of the 10th floor. You can observe the map of the 11th to 20th floors and the abilities and locations of all NPCs. You can also choose in the mystery to choose one in the 11th to 20th floors. In the game, I took it for granted and accepted it all. It's really a game that relies on strength.
The uncle was jealous and cursed. It's not strength.
It's obviously luck for you, who says I have no skills. Now I'll show you my leadership skills. Then I use my skill and display NPC list. Only show NPCs with the skill of commanding soldiers. Now the uncle finally understands my intention. You have me, your cheap brother, to help you. Why don't you get stronger and then go to fight? Aren't you ashamed to do this? How could it be? Skills are all for use, aren't they? Finally, show the NPC's location. Turning ordinary skills into super skills to use. Doesn't it mean I have a brain to use skills? I said confidently. In a flat, I followed the map's prompt to find General Aiken. I said to him seriously that I have a favor to ask. Please kill me. The general was shocked and almost dropped his eyes. I have a secret skill. As long as I die,
all the soldiers on the battlefield will be protected by God.
The general said, how could he kill the great warrior? He definitely couldn't do that. I picked up the dagger. If the general doesn't kill me, I had to beat myself compared to dying at the hands of a monster. I'd rather give my life to a general like you. I didn't expect the curse to come to our country, and it also affected the great hero. Thank you. I will let you go without a trace of pain. You are a true warrior. Then I heard the familiar system prompt sound. I will randomly copy the skills of General Jin. Soon, a shocking scene happened to all hunters. A hunter was holding a sword, riding a horse and leading NPC soldiers to kill monsters. It was the majestic General Jin Gongzi. Here. Turn right here. I used the map to show the location of the monster, leading the soldiers to the location of the Demon King. Command and leadership skills are not enough. I took out a sword, a dazzling holy sword, and all the soldiers' morale rose, shouting out, long live the Empire of Aigen. Long live the hero. This is the prop I chose from the mysterious store. Legend has it that on the day when the one holding the holy sword will come,
he will gain the absolute support of the citizens.
I listened with a rapturous look, the voices of soldiers supporting me. The uncle couldn't stand me. He scolded me for teaching you to use spiritual power. You don't use it in swordsmanship, but to enhance my hearing, to listen to this nonsense. It sounds so cool. I can't help it.
A group of goblin minions discovered my attack.
And behind them was the 11th level Demon King, the Goblin King. I used the Jimei Tai skill again. I said, GJ, and then, when he was stunned, I used the holy sword to kill him with one strike, as the Goblin King fell heavily to the ground,
followed by the cheers of the soldiers.
Seeing the demon defeated,
the remaining goblins fled in panic.
Then I received a system prompt. The 11th level was breached today. The ranking of contribution to clearance. The first place is me, General Jin Gongzi. Everyone couldn't believe. The 11th level was breached in one day. The uncle turned away from me. He was angry that I only used some tricks. I know he values basic skills more than skills, so I promised him I would learn swordsmanship from him seriously. Really? That's the right way. You finally understand my value. The uncle was happy like a child, and flying around. At this time the system issued a prompt again. The hunters with the highest contribution will enter the 12th floor first, and then the teleportation began. Then several people were teleported to the Imperial Palace. At this time, Judge Shao Kai looked at me with admiration. My God, he is so awesome. He could make the angel NPC obey him. However, while the two were bragging about each other, the swordsman suddenly slashed at me.
Fortunately, the little cutie blocked the attack in time.
Then the swordsman warned everyone fiercely. I advise you not to stop me, or you will die. The sword saint glared at the goldmine viciously, threatening to kill this beast today, and threatened to cut off anyone who stood in his way. But the little cute is not afraid. I am the most important core of the battle group. If I'm killed by you like this, the face of the 5 major groups would be a joke. But the sword saint didn't care about that. The little cute immediately cast the holy spell. The next second the paladin and the viper fell from the sky, but the sword saint just turned around, and with just one hand, to catch this attack.
His strength, even the viper couldn't help but complain.
This old man only has a spirit sword. How could he be so strong? After that, the 3 surrounded him. Then,
turned to the woman and asked for 10,000 gold coins.
She wanted to refuse, but the situation had come to this, so he had to reluctantly support. Then a rain of gold coins fell from the sky. The little cute looked at the gold coins with satisfaction. Then he put his hands together, and the huge magic power was constantly gathering. The next second, the body of the snake and knight was super enhanced. All functions of the body have also been greatly improved, and this is the legendary sacred art. At this time, the Black Witch is also ready to help them attack. She told the Sword Saint that the reason we stopped you is because they have signed a contract with me and have joined our 5 major war groups, and their status is equivalent to the leader. So are you sure you want to continue to fight? Now the situation has completely reversed, even if the swordsman is very strong now.
He can't withstand the siege of these top hunters.
The swordsman was furious. The person was standing right in front of him, but he couldn't do anything about it. However, at this moment, I actually swaggered too, walked up to the slayer, and said that he was actually very scared inside, and wanted to talk to him.
But the swordsman didn't believe my nonsense at all.
Because in his eyes, I'm just a murderer who killed more than 4,000 lives. The Sword Saint glared at them fiercely. In his eyes, these people and I are the same kind of people. At first, the Sword Saint didn't join the Legion, because he wanted to prove himself. He could reach the top of the tower alone. He roared loudly to everyone. He gave them hope to turn over a new leaf. But what about you? You're just a bunch of stinky mud. Hearing this, the Dark Witch gritted her teeth in anger, and the Viper was cursing. Don't fucking pretend. Can you stop pretending? When challenging the 5th to 9th floors, if you were willing to help, the number of people would have been reduced by half. Whoever with the Sword Saint's temper doesn't care about what the witch said at this time.
He even said that. If you don't agree,
let's have a real fight. I asked everyone to stop arguing.
Blindly blaming each other won't solve any problems.
Shouldn't we be concerned about? Shouldn't we focus on the 12th floor? At this time, the silent paladin next to him spoke up. Spoky Wansworth, he thought I was right. Then, he showed his exclusive skill, Siwu, this skill can distinguish the truth from falsehood in speech. If you believe me, let's have a test of authenticity. I thought this was a great opportunity to prove. I directly agreed to his proposal. The swordsman also believed in the paladin's character and agreed to this method. Then the test began. The swordsman was the first to question me if I killed more than 4,000 people, admitted it directly, and admitted it. Hearing this,
The swordsman excitedly shouted to everyone, "Look,
I said he was a complete pervert. However, halfway through, the paladin interrupted him because his skill had been verified. I was lying just now. The swordsman was shocked in place, with disbelief written all over his face. He quickly changed the question,
saying I was definitely a top killer trained."
and this time I didn't explain either, and admitted it. But the paladin said I was still lying. The old man was completely confused. He didn't understand what was going on at all, and even began to doubt if his skills were wrong or not. However, at this moment, I took the initiative to tell the truth. I did kill someone, but only one person, and that person was a complete scumbag. The paladin was speechless, because what I just said was all true. Then I went up to the old man and said,
I said that since the misunderstanding had been explained,
"Shouldn't you apologize to me? If these commanders hadn't been here, I might have died at your hands by now, right?" "Right."
now the fact is proved that I am not a pervert. The leaders also urged the swordsman to apologize to me.
And I was also looking forward what he would do next.
Looking at the sword of justice he had wielded countless times,
The old man fell into deep thought. He pulled out the sheath, looked at the killing technique on his head. Finally, he put away his sword. He bowed to me solemnly and said sorry. He admitted his recklessness and misunderstood me, and almost killed me before meeting me. The old man had always adhered to the principle of not letting any evil go. He has come this far, but at this moment
he realized that his idea was stubborn and wrong.
Then he sincerely expressed to Jin, after he reaches the top of the tower, he could come and take me at any time. I turned to the paladin beside me. The paladin nodded, indicating that what the swordsman said was true. I looked at the sword saint in disbelief. Then I respectfully said to the swordsman, "You don't have to have such extreme ideas. Actually, just teach me a little swordsmanship. This matter will be over." Originally, I didn't want to forgive you without any conditions, but I was afraid you would feel too ashamed. So I had to come up with this idea. After saying this, I blushed. I didn't expect that as I spoke. I had revealed all my true feelings, and these words also stunned everyone present. Even the paladin was very surprised. God? He actually said it was true? At this time, Xiao Kai was moved to tears by the scene. This is the most sacred scene he has ever seen. The sword saint lowered his head and was silent. The next second, he suddenly hugged me and said excitedly, "No problem. I'll take care of your future training. Just call me Grandpa Marcus.
When my lovely granddaughter comes to the gathering hall,
I will definitely introduce her to you." Now it was my turn to be surprised. It all came too suddenly. I wasn't ready for this at all. However, while the two were chatting, the giant tower suddenly gave a prompt. "Congratulations on passing level 11 and become the #1 hunter. Now the first place reward will be awarded." As soon as he said, a golden goddess and a black devil appeared in front of the essence, choosing the reward of guarding the goddess. You can get corresponding abilities and prestige. However, the reward for Kyu Demon King is completely different from this. The Demon King wants to cooperate with me secretly, as long as he kills all the warriors present, and after completion he will use and teleport him to the 99th floor. I looked in horror at the leaders nearby. This is a real-life version of werewolf. After everyone said they chose the goddess, the giant tower prompts, someone secretly chose the Demon King's reward. The dark witch first threatened, "If I find out who the traitor is,
I will definitely let him die in the most painful way,"
I was very nervous at this time,
urging the paladin to use the lie detector skill
to interrogate everyone. Then the paladin began to test, but since I gave up the reward, so he didn't get anything this time. The paladin began to interrogate everyone one-on-one, but they all told the truth without exception. None of the 10 people chose the Demon King's reward. Where did the traitor come from? Seeing everyone's flustered appearance, the goddess lamented the fools of the warriors while the devil laughed heartily from above. The paladin told everyone to calm down, but at this moment, the swordsman spoke up. He suspected that the paladin might be the traitor, because the lie detector can also lie. Hearing this, the Black Witch was very upset. Everyone began to suspect each other, while everyone was suspicious of each other. Xiao Kai said to everyone that, "We have known each other for 10 years. Trust is definitely no problem, but for those outside the 5 legions, it's hard to say." The passers-by understood the judge's meaning, but before they could escape, Xiao Kai teleported behind them and pierced the man's body with a palm. The viper followed and killed another person. The swordsman couldn't bear it. He drew his sword and fully charged. "You beasts have indeed revealed your true colors. The little cutie is ruthless. She would rather kill the wrong one than let anyone go." She brutally killed them. Then the tower also sent a message. "The 3 warriors are dead. They are not the minions of the devil." Now it's clear. It means the traitor is alive. Seeing this, the other captains quickly fought with the sword saint. Now the scene was very chaotic. The paladin quickly handed over the judgment to me and let me stop it. I called out to the swordsman, "For the sake of me being your son-in-law, please stop first. I know you won't forgive these people. It's not too late to wait until the truth is known." When everyone calmed down, I carefully analyzed it for everyone. You see what it says on it is, "Destroy the 20-layer Demon King core." Our energy should be focused on dealing with the Demon King, instead of this so-called traitor. Maybe this so-called traitor is a systemically designated to cause our civil strife. As long as we keep attacking the tower and kill the final Demon Lord, wouldn't all these problems be solved? Kyu Demon King finally revealed himself. When the Demon Lord appeared, the sky was filled with blood-red nightmare rain. All the soldiers led by him fell into terrifying nightmares. Even a powerful hunter like the Sword Saint also couldn't withstand the terrifying pressure, looking at humans like ants. Kyu Devil King said, "Do you think finding help can help you save the Empire? What a pathetic group of humans. No matter how many people, I will break your will and let the evil spirits devour you." After that, the giant tower popped up the mission description. Difficulty, reaching an unprecedented SS level. The goal is to stop the Demon Lord and weaken his power, but no matter how you look at it, is beyond the capabilities of the hunters.
The Autumn Rain Demon Lord is beyond their ability.
However, I don't think so, because the tower wouldn't release an impossible mission, so I started to command everyone and assign different tasks to everyone. But when it was Shao Kai, I didn't give him a good look. Today,
I hate Shao Kai who kills innocent hunters like this.
But now is not the time to settle grudges. Now, everyone is ready, and the battle officially began. Then I was ready to set off to the battlefield. But at this moment, the Dark Witch found me. I was puzzled. Shouldn't you be on the city wall at this time? Why did you suddenly come back? The witch said she wanted to bring my medicine, because I can inspire NPC to inspire them, so she wasn't needed on the city wall.
But I was very surprised at the comparison.
But my current identity is the Imperial Prime Minister. Saving the people is the most important goal. Then the witch held my hand tightly. With a puff, we teleported to the city wall.
But when I arrived, I found the situation was not optimistic.
Standing here, I looked down. There were a group of desperate and crying soldiers. The Black Witch looked sharply at the soldiers. Then she stood on the city wall, shouting to cheer up everyone. Soldiers of the Empire, you are the real walls of this country. As long as you don't fall, this country will not perish, and the gods will bless us. After saying these impassioned words, the Goddess of Guardians was very impressed. And the goddess gave her another all-powerful sword light. When she and I raised the holy sword, the all-powerful holy sword light given by the goddess, shrouded everywhere in the empire, protect people from the relatives of the nightmare reign. However, in my eyes, this is not an amazing all-rounder, because the light of this sword can only illuminate a small area. But that's enough for me. With the encouragement of the witch and the blessing of the goddess, the soldiers in the nightmare gradually became clear and regained their will. I looked at the Black Witch in surprise. I didn't expect that such a cold man also has an unknown side. Seeing my stunned expression, the Dark Witch complained, "Am I that pretty? Keep staring at me. Hurry up and think about how to deal with the Demon King." But in fact, I already had an idea in my mind. I planned to let the hunters attract Xiaoma and use the witch's teleportation ability
and teleport myself in front of the lonely Demon King.
Hearing this, the witch was puzzled. What's the difference between this and suicide?
However, she didn't know that I was going to die.
At this moment, the Demon King spoke. He mocked the goddess's light for humans. Was not a blessing, just a joke to play with humans. Then, the Demon Lord raised the mysterious sword wrapped in black gas and slashed it down. Hundreds of thousands of Imperial troops was instantly wiped out. Even the impregnable Imperial Palace couldn't withstand the destructive power. Was cut into ruins by a sword. The female knight captain in charge of the inner hall failed to survive and died at the hands of the devil. The witch lamented that her former friend died like this. But now is not the time to say goodbye. Let's solve the current problem first. Then we held hands together and teleported to the back, looking at the hordes of monsters. You bitch. This is a great opportunity to train you. Fight with all your strength against the monster, no matter how long I can hold on. Then I picked up the enhanced adrenaline and drank it in one go. Now, everything is ready. It's time to really hunt down these demon armies. Copy the holy sword. The demon army is slaughtering wildly. I don't know how long it's been. I can't remember how many I killed. I started meditating.
The world in my eyes also became dim at this time.
I remembered the monster Yandi.
I thought why he could conquer the 20th floor.
Since he can do it, then I can do it. And I also want to conquer the top 100 floors. After constantly killing monsters, my presence was enhanced. Level up. Then the old sword saint also arrived at the scene. He praised me for being really good. As a level 1 hunter, I have the strength comparable to an S-class hunter. He is indeed a good seedling. I said to myself in my heart, isn't that obvious? Because I have a cheat. Then
we started to kill on the battlefield together.
The little cute also followed closely, leading the Imperial army to attack, and the Snake Master also came at this time. The Demon King was no longer patient to play with us. He raised his black giant sword and summoned a bloody mist in the sky. Seeing this, the witch,
she immediately used the mirror to reflect the attack.
Then everyone gathered together. They held the witch's hand and prepared to teleport. But when the witch called Jin Wan, I'm a little hesitant. I stood in front of the devil. I felt a little emotional because these scenes in front of me and what I've experienced before will all disappear. The swordsman comforted me not to be so sad. Let's go and deal with the ultimate monster. Then all the warriors gathered together. They arrived at the Demon King before the battle began. I suddenly let go of the witch's hand,
raised the holy sword and slashed towards the Demon King.
The devil laughed at me for being stupid and arrogant. How dare he challenge me alone? However, the stupid one is not me, but himself, because I deliberately wanted to die at his hands. Now it's time to choose the skill card. First is the first S-class skill. Resentment spreads like rain. Skill effect.
As long as there is innocent blood flowing nearby.
The sky will rain nightmares. Those who are hit will fall into a nightmare. Rain of nightmares. The second is the Lee family's skill. Heart echoes your emotions. Will enhance your internal force. Whether it's hatred or joy, anger or sadness, will be transformed into a steady stream of fuel and enhance your inner. The most powerful skill in chapter 3 is here. SS level skill 100 ghosts. Summon the people or monsters you killed and turn them into an undead army. But only some goblins, half-orc skeletons, and so on, and you can only use it once a week. I thought for a while, these 3 skills all suit me very well. But because of the limitations, I can only choose one. But because of the restrictions, I can only choose one. Finally, I caught a golden card. Because my hunter level has been upgraded to D, so this time there will be side effects. QU Demon King's psychological shadow will reappear. The punishment intensity after the choice time also returned to 24 hours. With this experience, I decided
to reveal the information of the 11th and 12th floors.
But there is a condition. After entering the tower, the leaders must unconditionally promise me one thing. I can't say the details now, but I can guarantee that they will not do anything to hurt others, and so on. The little cute said no problem, it's always good to plan ahead. The female leader also agreed with it, and agreed to this condition. Then, I told them the details of the floors above 10. After discussing the giant tower, I asked the paladin to accompany me for a walk. Then we walked leisurely on the street. After a while, Sword Emperor reminded me. That guy followed us. I wasn't surprised, because every step was following his plan. Then as we walked, we came to Yihan's pharmacy. When seeing the paladin of his small store by the self, Yihan was scared and immediately knelt down.
And kept saying that he was a small business.
And there was no law breaking. I'm a good citizen. I told him to get up quickly, saying that he brought the paladin here to buy potions. Hearing this, Yihan grabbed my hand and said, saying you were my angel. At this moment, Jihan held my hand and said, saying you are really my angel. At this moment, a man walked to the door of the pharmacy, and the man who came was the swordsman Marcus. He came up and said bluntly, "Trouble, please get out. I want to talk to this kid alone." But the paladin couldn't just stand by and watch. He firmly stood in front of the paladin, without any hesitation. It seemed that a fight was about to break out, but
the swordsman didn't want to attack the paladin,
because he knew that this man
is a good man who has never killed anyone.
At this moment, Yihin also stepped forward, explained to the Sword Saint that I was his benefactor. He would do his best to protect him no matter what. Seeing this scene, the Sword Saint was silent, although
the two didn't have the strength to stop the Sword Saint.
But their determined eyes and righteous actions seemed very powerful and firm. After thinking for a moment, the old man put his sword away and turned around and said smartly, "It seems that he came at the wrong time." After he walked out of the pharmacy, he immediately followed him. He shouted, asked the swordsman to meet him in the open space in the north, and he would explain everything to him then. Looking at the Sword Saint's desolate back, the knight was a little sighed. In fact, the old man wasn't like this before. He also had a harmonious and happy family. But an accident happened when he was out once. His daughter and son-in-law were both killed by a murderer. Only his grandson and granddaughter survived. Maybe it was because of these experiences that made him become the righteous John Shang. Actually, in fact, the paladin can understand the old man's feelings, because some villains don't deserve to live in this world at all. The next day, in the afternoon, I arrived as promised. To the meeting place in the north, the old man praised me for my courage to face me alone like this. I felt a little sad, and felt wronged like a child. But then I got straight to the point. "I know why you want to kill me so much." Because of the detective's insight skill, the old man was surprised, and didn't know how I knew that. I told him, I am a prophet, and have the skill of predicting the future. No matter what you will do next, I know it all clearly. The swordsman frowned, and put his hand behind his back.
Let me guess how many fingers I was extending.
I miscalculated. I knew I couldn't guess it at all. Then I suddenly pulled out a dagger, just when the Sword Saint thought I was going to attack. I stabbed myself without hesitation to death. With the old man's face of astonishment and anger, time went back to 24 hours ago, after I died again and again. I finally convinced the Sword Saint this time. I asked the old man to give me 5 days, and I would prove my innocence then. The old man agreed. Anyway, I was by his side. I can't run away. Now that everything is settled, the 12th level will also have a new ending. Now all the members have gathered, and started to attack the 11th level. Then the leaders started to kill the enemy in the army. But this time the difference is, I didn't choose to steal the limelight,
but silently watched everything behind the scenes.
Maybe I've experienced too much before. I just want to keep a low profile. But as I was laughing, I suddenly felt my spine go cold. I suddenly turned my head. I found the Sword Saint staring at me intently. I understood his meaning. In order to end the battle quickly, I found the Black Dragon captain, and then took out a miniature map. I told him, which can clearly see the situation of the battlefield. Hearing about this treasure, the Dark Witch's eyes lit up. He held my hand and said, saying, "Why didn't you tell me earlier? Hurry up and find the ultimate boss." Then the two held each other's hands tightly.
The next second, the two of them flashed into the air
and saw the location of the final boss at a glance. The witch continued to use teleportation to the boss's head. "Let me do it. I'll kill him." I raised the Holy's sword and jumped up
and slashed the Goblin King into a green apple.
Seeing the boss was killed, Wei Fende and the minions were scared and fled, and the battle ended perfectly.
The witch shouted excitedly, "Great."
We completed the dungeon in less than an hour, and the number of hunters who died in battle was few. "You are really great." I was stunned. All along, the image of the witch has always been ruthless. I didn't expect she actually has such a simple and kind side.
Looking at the Black Witch's beautiful and bright smile,
I suddenly felt like I was in love. Because of these experiences, I continue to transform. From now on, I no longer need that so-called vanity.
Because only a strong heart can overcome everything.
After the ranking, the top 10 are still these leaders. Then everyone was teleported to the 12th floor of the palace.
The little cute just ran over and wanted to throw himself into my arms.
I stopped him right away, because I have something to announce. The previous leaders promised me to do one thing unconditionally. Now it's time to keep your promise. I said from now on, all of you stay in the palace and do nothing. I will in 5 days break through to the 20th floor alone. When I said this, everyone was shocked, which was simply impossible. The Dark Witch kindly reminded me not to be too blindly confident. You know, our previous war groups. It took us many years to only break through the 10th level, but I was determined. I sincerely ask you to listen to my request. No matter what happens, you just wait for me here for 5 days. After that, the giant tower began to announce the rewards of the 11th, but because of my actions just now, the Demon King didn't find a chance to sow discord. He was furious, and told me to choose my reward quickly, but I still remained unmoved. After all, I provided those valuable information, were all provided by me, and our several leaders promised me to do one thing unconditionally. So both emotionally, there is no reason for us to object. The Dark Witch was a bit headache, although she was worried about my safety, but she could do nothing. However, the leader agreed, but Saint didn't agree to it. He had an agreement with me before. He would observe me 24 hours a day, no matter where I am, thinking like that if there are more Sword Saints to help me defeat the Demon King, it would be more confident. After saying goodbye, I turned and left. But when I pushed the door open, I was stunned by the scene in front of me.
These NPCs and scenes turned grey,
and time seemed to stand still. I explained, maybe because we didn't choose the rewards and positions. These tasks and levels that require role-playing were not activated, so it became like this. While I was talking, Kiryu Devil was constantly urging me to choose the reward, but I ignored him. Because I had a good idea. I want to kill the Demon King here in advance. Then I took out the mini-map and found the location of the Demon King. When the two were about to go to the place, the Demon Lord finally couldn't bear it. He angrily revealed his true form and appeared in front of them and warned me to obey the rules immediately and follow the process. I picked up the sword, pointing at the Demon Lords, and said, I just want to break the rules and kill you here. This way, no one will die tragically at your hands. Because I want a happy ending. The devil was furious when he heard it. He turned into a pool of evil black water and swallowed towards me. However, in this world of time stop, the devil's power is too strong. I was killed in one hit every time I fought him. But the thing I fear the least is death. I recorded the number of deaths in my hand and in the battle with the devil and constantly improved myself.
Whether it's hundreds or thousands of deaths,
I will never give up until I can defeat the devil. So I started an infinite loop. But as I fought, I developed a subtle feeling for the Demon Lord. I felt like this guy was like an old friend of mine, even before every battle. I would shout to the Demon King every time, I will fight you to the end. Maybe because of my infinite regression. For some reason, the devil, when talking to me, he also felt a sense of déjà vu. He couldn't see any fear in me. On the contrary,
instead, there was a happy smile on my face.
The Demon King was puzzled. I'm going to die. How could I still laugh? The Demon King was angry and swung his black sword and killed me again. Although every time I reincarnate, the outcome is the same. But the process is always changing. Before, it might take 50 minutes to pass the level, the 11th floor, but now it only takes 20 minutes. And the casualty rate has dropped to less than 10. As time went on, the 11th level has been perfectly cleared. I not only cleared the level in a few minutes, but also protected everyone's lives. No one died because of the Demon King. The witch held my hand tightly and then plunged into my arms and cried loudly, "Thank you. Everyone is alive." Then I continued to face the Demon King one-on-one, but at this moment, there was a sudden explosion in the sky. Then, the Black Witch suddenly appeared beside me. I told the witch that I was playing a solo game, but since you're here, so let's have a two-player fight. The Demon King laughed when he saw it. Do you think you can find help? Then the Demon King stretched out his hand and directly summoned a ghost army. Seeing countless monsters coming, the Black Witch asked the two to hold her hands quickly. The current situation is beyond our ability to handle. I smiled slightly and raised my finger and shouted, "Summon 100 ghosts." At the moment when Jingwan used the skill, all the corpses buried in the ground broke out of the ground. In an instant, the entire battlefield was covered with undead. The scene made the Demon King of Monsters amazed. The witch and the swordsman were stunned. This skill is simply amazing. However,
the summoned skeletons were not the corpses of monsters,
but myself, because of the skill effect,
only summons the life forms that I have killed myself.
So I was able to summon thousands of skeletons at once. Seeing this scene, Kiryu Demon King was shocked. Why does this guy have the same emotions as himself? The humiliated Autumn Rain Demon Lord was completely shocked. He could not tolerate this happening. Then I reminded everyone to prepare for battle, and raised the holy sword to command the army of ghosts. Then countless skeletons rushed towards the Demon Lord. The monsters were killed and their limbs were broken. For a moment,
the entire battlefield was under my control.
The swordsman laughed from the side. The dead legion is true love. The Demon King scoffed at humans. You have never borne the malice and resentment of this world, and you still want to stop my evolutionary path. I stood firmly in front of the Demon King. No matter what happens, I will fight the devil to the end. After that, a golden light suddenly radiated from my side, and the giant tower also prompts, "Congratulations on getting the title Lord of Death. Salute to the King of Harvesting Life." Actually, the devil was not a complete living being, but he had a special ability. As long as he devours the other, he can completely copy the life form of the person who was swallowed, including the other person's memory and emotions. The first devil, he only copied some animal bodies, but after he devoured a little girl, everything changed. When the girl's father came over,
he found his daughter, Azita, was covered in blood.
This is not only the devil's first name, it was also the first time she felt human emotions. As time went by, Azita gradually grew up. She became the frontier saint in people's eyes, because no matter what disease, as long as she treated them, they could recover. However, what people don't know is that Asta did not have the ability to cure diseases, but she can reshape a new life. She gently held the child, while feeling the mother's love. She also felt the child's pain and suffering. To free this poor soul, Asta swallowed the pain in one bite. In this way, Esther saved another life, and her followers are increasing. However, the good times didn't last, because Esther's influence was too great. The authority of God was affected. Therefore, the soldiers of the empire thought that Esther was a witch, and agreed that their followers were also ominous. To eliminate these organizations, they set fire to the village, and brutally killed all the innocent villagers. Even the children were not spared. Seeing this scene, Azita was filled with grief. He vowed not to let go of everyone in the empire, until he swallowed them all. And I still know nothing about the story of the devil. I was still struggling to fight the devil. Although I used the white ghost summon, I still couldn't hurt the Demon King at all. I found another way to defeat the Demon King. This time, he no longer recorded his death, but recorded every attack and combat habit. And combat habits, he remembered them all. After another round of death, I became fearless in front of the Demon Lord. No matter what skills the Demon Lord used, or attacks, I could easily dodge them. This also made the Demon King puzzled. This guy, does he have skills like the prophetic eye? After the skill cooldown ended, I used the 100 ghost summoning again.
Then I picked up the holy sword and slashed at the Demon King.
Although I couldn't hurt the Demon Lord, this move was already good.
I could have lasted a while and fought with the Demon Lord,
but the swordsman kept talking non-stop. which made me die by accident. I was so angry that I swore, I'll have to start all over again for a week. The swordsman looked at me with a mocking expression. What can you do to me? I'm back on the battlefield. I commanded the witch to dodge the attack and asked her to use her ultimate move to kill the demon. Then the witch began to charge. I saw 5 black mirrors reflecting black energy continuously and formed a pentagram in the middle. The next second,
A huge black energy body poured out,
this terrifying strike
pierced through the Demon King's body.
The Demon King staggered to support himself. It seems that the big move has really hurt him. Seeing this, the witch immediately pursued, and then jumped into the air and gathered all the black mirrors in front of the devil, with a bang, blowing the Demon King to pieces. The Demon King was also injured, revealed a glimpse of his true identity. Seeing the skin like a human, I was shocked. Seeing the situation, decided to retreat, turned into a pool of black water, and disappeared before our eyes. I was broken. I have worked so hard, but it ended up in vain.
However, at this moment,
The giant tower suddenly gave a prompt, triggered a hidden quest, 12 to 19th floors. The task has been changed to hidden, although the devil has escaped, but he hasn't escaped far. Chase or not? Please make your choice. I looked at the task with relief. I decisively chose to chase, and the truth of all this is gradually unfolding at this moment.